web design kind of found me in a way. I developed an interest in computer programming when I was in middle school, um, using Quick Basic and oh my God, IBM PS2. And no, PS2 is not a PlayStation 2. That was just a model of the computer, and would develop games and different things that I thought was interesting. So I would hand code these games, and you'd get to a point where um, you got the game working, but you always want that feedback from someone. So I talked to my friend and said, "Hey, look, I I copied this on a disk. Yes, it was a disk, a like a floppy disk. Um, Thankfully provided to me free frequently by AOL when they would come in the mail and give you 30 hours free. So I would format them, slap a sticker on it, copy my program to it, and hand it off to my friend and say, "Hey, give this a try. Let me know what you think, and we'll go from there." So like 3 or 4 days later, I asked my friend. I'll say, "Hey, that program, did you get a chance to play it? What do you think?" And all that. And they're like, "Well, yeah, I got to like level 2 or 3, but then it crashed." I'm like, "Okay, well, we'll give me the disc back and we'll go from there." So around this time, eventually saw www dot whatever advertised on different things, the drink next to my computer, and I'm like, okay, so what is this here? So I started looking into it, and I'm like, these websites, you mean I can develop code and I can put them on the web, and anyone in the world can see it? Not only that, if I need to make a change, I don't need to get that disk back from anybody. I can go ahead and make the change, and then it updates for everybody. And I'm like, why am I programming this way? Let me start jumping into that. So that's when I got into starting with HTML, which is the basic language when it comes to web design. Um, I tried to imitate everything I saw, just like writers a lot of times learn their craft by imitating other writers. I would find websites and go, okay, how do I make it look like that? How do I do those things? And so as I developed more and more, it became more of a passion. And I officially started the business after college, after moving here. And I think it was in 2008 is when I actually framed it as a business. So I've 12 years now. If a program, website, what have you, it can be almost correct. But if one thing is broken, the entire thing is broken, and that can be frustrating. So you can go from 99% to zero in no time. But life has those frustrations. I enjoy the flexibility of it. I enjoy the interactions with people. Service is a big thing to me. So it's kind of a game in a way, because if a client comes to you and says, "Hey, I need a website to advertise my business," well, one, they are the expert in their field. I can't act like I know their business. Yes, I can research it. I can understand who their competitors are and different things like that. I understand best practices of what's a good way to present information. They're the expert on that, and the collaboration that comes from that, and like I said, it's a game trying to get in their head for me to create a product that they can look at and go, "Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking of. That's exactly what I had in my head." And so that is a creative challenge that I tend to enjoy. The ironic thing about technology is in how quickly it evolves and changes. And one thing that I think you all are seeing as students is that you are actually preparing for a career that may not exist yet. So while I was in middle school programming on an older programming language, um, I was still learning skills that could be applied for when this came along. So a lot of times, everything we're learning in class and in different classes, it's really you're creating a toolbox, and you don't know when you're going to use those. But as things evolve and new products and new capabilities come out there, you tend to stumble upon something that may interest you. And if you have that interest and that passion, then you can certainly go far, because now you have your toolbox. You have what you need to understand the material and to learn how to make those things happen. But most importantly, having that interest in it takes away a lot of the intimidation, and it makes it fun. So I didn't always think about being a web designer. It didn't exist then, but I've always had an interest in technology. It's always been a fun challenge for me to try to create something that I can interact with, and the algorithms of it, the trying to create an example. I remember when designing a game of Pong, trying to recreate that, I could make it so that the computer was flawless. It's pretty easy for the computer to understand the mathematical calculations of where the ball is going to go and to hit it every time. So then I was like, well, how do I pare this down? How do I make that computer not as intelligent? So I had to think of a way to throw data at the computer that was false data along with real data, and for it to try to make an assumption based on the information it was given, so that it looked like it was trying, but there was a chance that it would make the wrong decision, and then you're now playing a computer opponent that feels more real than one that's just, frustratingly perfect, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like false artificial intelligence in a way, and that kind of was an aha moment for me. It's like, it's just very bizarre thinking of things that way. So the education requirements, yes, education is important. Don't get me wrong, it depends on what you're going into. There may be requirements saying you need a bachelor's degree or 4-year degree in graphic design or computer science or something like that. Sometimes you'll see or applicable experience. So, the employers just want someone to be able to do the job, and they'll train you and teach you what you don't know. They want you to be able to get along with the team and be able to move forward. And sometimes, I'm not saying that the college isn't important, by no means, because that's a lot of times the playing ground of learning new skills and being exposed to new things. But make sure you have those other skills, because those are vitally important.